You think you're ready for a credit card, but you're probably not. And that mistake could cost you thousands. Here's what most people do. They get approved, start swiping, and then wonder why their finances are a mess 6 months later. They treat credit cards like free money instead of what they actually are, a financial tool that can either build your wealth or destroy it. There's one rule that separates people who win with credit cards from people who lose. It's simple, but most people skip it entirely. Stick around because it's time to learn how credit cards work.
Step 1. Assess your financial readiness, the budget test. Before you even think about applying for a credit card, you need to pass what I call the budget test. This isn't about having perfect credit or a huge income. It's about proving to yourself that you can handle the responsibility. Here's the test. For the next 3 months, track every dollar that comes in and goes out. Every coffee, every subscription, every grocery trip. Write it down or use an app. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you know exactly where your money goes. Now, this might sound boring, but here's why it's crucial. Credit cards amplify your existing money habits. If you're already spending more than you make, a credit card will make that problem worse. But if you have control over your spending, a credit card becomes a powerful tool. During those 3 months, you're looking for 2 things. First, are you consistently spending less than you earn? Not just breaking even, actually spending less. Second, do you have money left over at the end of each month that you could use to pay off a credit card balance? This is exactly the same as asking whether you're ready to drive a sports car. You wouldn't hand someone the keys to a Ferrari if they couldn't handle a regular car, right? Credit cards are the sports cars of personal finance. They're fast, they're powerful, and they can get you into trouble quickly if you don't know what you're doing. Let me give you a concrete example. Say you earn $3,000 a month after taxes. Your rent is $1,200. Groceries are $400. Car payment is $300. Insurance is $150. And other expenses add up to $700. That's $2,750 total. You've got $250 left over. That leftover money is your credit card safety net. It proves you can afford to pay off whatever you charge. Without that buffer, you're setting yourself up to carry a balance, and that's where credit cards become expensive. But here's where people mess up. They think having a credit card will help them manage their money better. That's backwards thinking. You need to manage your money first, then use the credit card as a tool to make your good habits even better. The budget test also reveals your spending patterns. Maybe you spend more during certain weeks of the month. Maybe you have irregular expenses that pop up. These patterns matter because credit card bills don't care about your cash flow timing. The bill comes due on the same date every month, regardless of when you get paid or when unexpected expenses hit. So far, we've covered why you need a budget before getting a credit card, but let's talk about the actual rule that changes everything.
Step 2. Master the fine print. APR, fees, and grace periods. Now that you've proven you can handle your money, it's time to understand what you're actually signing up for. Credit card companies make their money when you don't understand the fine print. So let's break down the 3 numbers that matter most. First up is APR, which stands for annual percentage rate. This is the interest rate you'll pay if you carry a balance from month to month. Here's what most people don't realize. APR doesn't matter if you follow the one rule I'm about to share with you, but you still need to understand it because life happens. Let's say you find a card with 18% APR. That sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. That 18% is annual, but credit card companies calculate interest daily. So your daily rate is actually 18 divided by 365, which is about 0.05% per day. Doesn't sound like much, but it compounds. If you carry a $1,000 balance for a full year at 18% APR, you'll pay about $180 in interest. But here's the kicker. If you only make minimum payments, it'll take you years to pay off that balance, and you'll end up paying way more than $180 in total interest. The second number you need to know is your annual fee. Some cards charge you just for having the privilege of using their plastic. These fees range from $0 to over $800 per year for premium cards. Now, cards with annual fees often offer better rewards, but here's my rule. If you're getting your first credit card, avoid annual fees entirely. You're still learning the ropes. Don't pay for the privilege of potentially making expensive mistakes. The third critical number is your grace period. This is the window between when you make a purchase and when interest starts accumulating. Most cards offer 21 to 25 days, but some offer less. This grace period only applies if you pay your balance in full every month. Miss one payment and boom, you lose the grace period on new purchases until you get back on track. But wait, there's more fine print that can cost you. Late payment fees typically run $25 to $40 per incident. Over-the-limit fees can hit you if you spend more than your credit limit. Cash advance fees are usually 3 to 5% of the amount you withdraw, plus a higher APR that starts immediately with no grace period. Foreign transaction fees are another gotcha. If you travel or shop online from international retailers, some cards charge 2 to 3% extra on every transaction. That adds up fast. Here's where people get trapped. They focus on rewards and ignore the fees. You might earn 2% cash back, but if you're paying an annual fee and occasionally carry a balance, those rewards get wiped out quickly. It's like getting excited about a coupon while ignoring the fact that you're shopping at the most expensive store in town. Now, this all begs the question, how do you avoid these fees entirely? That brings us to the one rule that changes everything.
Now let's talk about step 3. Define your usage strategy, the 30% rule and payment plan. Here's the single most important rule before using a credit card. You must commit to paying off the entire balance every single month. No exceptions. Not the minimum payment, not most of the balance, the entire balance. This isn't just financial advice. It's a mindset shift. You're not borrowing money when you use a credit card. You're using someone else's money temporarily, then paying it back before they charge you rent on it. But committing to pay it off isn't enough. You need a system that makes it automatic. Here's mine. Treat your credit card like a debit card that gives you rewards. Before you make any purchase, ask yourself, do I have this money in my checking account right now? If the answer is no, don't swipe. This is exactly the same as the envelope budgeting system our grandparents used, except now the envelope is digital. Every dollar you spend on credit needs to already exist in your bank account earmarked for that credit card payment. Now let's talk about the 30% rule. This isn't about how much of your income you can spend, it's about credit utilization. You want to keep your credit card balance below 30% of your credit limit at all times. So if your limit is $1,000, never carry more than $300, even temporarily. Why does this matter? Credit utilization is the second biggest factor in your credit score right after payment history. High utilization signals to lenders that you might be struggling financially, even if you pay on time. Keep it low, and your credit score improves over time. Here's your payment strategy. Set up automatic payments for the full balance, not the minimum. Most credit card companies let you do this online. Pick a date that works with your cash flow, maybe a few days after you get paid. This removes the temptation to carry a balance and eliminates the risk of forgetting a payment. But what about emergencies? This is where people rationalize breaking the rule. They think, I'll just carry a balance this once and pay it off next month. That's how debt spirals start. Instead, build an emergency fund before you get the credit card. Even $500 gives you breathing room. The bottom line is this. Credit cards reward discipline and punish impulsiveness. If you can't commit to paying the full balance every month, you're not ready for a credit card. Wait until you can make that commitment, because that's the difference between building wealth and paying interest to credit card companies. Now that you understand how credit cards work, let's go over your new credit card launch checklist. Here's your launch checklist before you apply. First, pass the budget test by tracking your spending for 3 months and proving you spend less than you earn. Second, understand the fine print, APR, fees, and grace periods. Third, commit to the payment strategy and never carry a balance. So that's the one rule that changes everything. Pay off your entire balance every single month, no exceptions. Remember, credit cards aren't about borrowing money. They're about using someone else's money temporarily while building your credit score and earning rewards. If you want more straightforward breakdowns of how money works,
hit that like and subscribe button.